It's been 2 weeks since the 1958 wiring in my attic failed and my house caught fire. Let's see where things are at now. Something you may have heard about house fires is how the damage can often be more caused by the firefighters than the fire itself. Most of what we're looking at here is the mess and debris caused by the firemen doing their job. And their job, for my house, was tearing out whatever they needed to get to the fire itself so they could put it out. Ceiling drywall came down in big chunks, and with that, all the attic insulation. Only 1 month earlier, I had spent the better part of 2 days in minus 30°C weather, crawling around in the attic and blowing new insulation in. So that's a lot of what you see on the floor here. And on the counters. And the gloves. And the vacuum. It wouldn't be a fire update video without some gratuitous fire damage. The amount of mass lost in this rafter was what led the two city fire investigators to believe this was burning for potentially several hours. This area was also air-fed by the return air in the basement that had been opened up as part of the reducting process during the furnace move. So it had much more access to new air than might normally be expected. Something you might notice here is the gray material stuck to the bottom side of the roof. That's the blown-in insulation that I had put in just a month prior. This was blown in on top of the original wood chip insulation. Yep, insulation was literally wood chips. I believe that the 16 inches or so of new insulation I blew in contributed to keeping the fire under control and helped prevent it from raging and taking the whole building and possibly my neighbor's buildings down. You can only see the gray material because it didn't burn. The new insulation has a fire retardant built in, so when the wiring failed and ignited the original insulation, it had a very thick blanket that helped prevent it from spreading. The cause of the fire, as far as I've been told, is still somewhat undetermined and is being attributed simply to old wiring. We can see where the copper got so hot in one area that there is a significant amount of it just missing. You can also see where the ground wire that was installed as a later addition to the wiring was energized to the point where it started to burn the sheathing. In the basement, much hasn't changed. My last bottle of water, given to me by Dual OK, remains on the battery charging station. There is some staining on the concrete from where the firefighters' water seeped through the main floor, but otherwise, the basement is largely untouched. The portable sub-panel that the electrician installed can be seen next to one of the air filters on the main floor. It's good to see that I'm not the only one willing to leave temporary plumbing lines just kind of hanging out in midair. These two lines go to the airlock shower. They built a structure probably 4 or 5 feet by 10 feet or so, sticking out the back of my house, right about where I wanted to put the mudroom, just in the wrong shape. They'll use this to ensure that anything they bring out during remediation is fully decontaminated. Surreal is the only way I can describe seeing the last piece of duct trunk still ready and waiting to get installed, and my work gloves still in the only place I ever know where I put a tool or anything else down at on the stairs. My spring yard chores are waiting to be attended to. While I've been out of the house because it has a fire and it stinks really bad, and apparently there's more asbestos than I thought, and everyone wants me out of there so that they can start doing their cleanup job, I've been living in a hotel for 2 weeks now. Started out with one hotel, and they didn't have room service because of the plague, and they didn't have a little kitchenette-ish thing here. There's no oven, so no cheap Walmart pizza, but there is a dishwasher, and there was a little hot plate-ish thing. They did eventually bring me a toaster. So eggs and toast for breakfast. It's been nice. I'm moving to a longer term, but still a shorter term staying place residence, hotel-ish sort of thing over at the Telus Sky building. It's big, it's new, it's fancy, it's very architectural, and boy, there's some really nice finishes there. I'll get to that in hopefully a later video, but someone actually really cared, and that's nice to see. But in the meantime, I thought I might give you a little bit of a look at what I've had to live with. So this is my kitchen, and then over there is the over here is the computer, and then over here is the living room, and just over there that's the bed. That's kind of it. So we'll scoot on over here. Way too fast camera movement, I know. Terrible cinematography here. But one of the things that really surprised me, because this space is probably, all told, maybe about 400 square feet from that door to this wall right in behind me. I do have a bit of a view, but the window's really dirty. But otherwise, it's a great view. Probably about 20 feet that way. And then here to here is probably about 20 feet. So I probably have 400, maybe 450 square feet in this place. But it's totally open. There's one wall over here for the bathroom so that you can close in the bathroom and get it nice and hot and steamy, because the shower doesn't actually have a door on it. It's very modern. But yeah, bed, couch, kitchen. That's it. What else is there to say? With having no walls, it's really an actually very functional space. And if I wasn't doing renovation stuff, if I was like typical filmmaker or typical streamer or typical anything without air quotes, this would probably be enough space for me. When I was looking through some of the other places that the insurance company sent me through, their place finding company sent me to go look at a bunch of places, even things that were 650 square feet felt a lot smaller because of the very closed area. Oh, and like over here, this is my little closet space, and I've got a bike, and I live downtown, and I have a bike, and I'm just like the most hipster right now. Living in a hotel for 2 weeks kind of sucks. I'll get real about that. Especially with the plague and no amenities, and you have to book a time if you want to go and use their treadmills downstairs. No room service because plague, and less housekeeping because plague, and it's just sort of like, for my situation in particular, where I don't have the go to it work a day job, it's a lot of time to spend in a fairly small space, especially at this time of year when it's so darn cold. It's been snowing off and on the past 3 days, so it's just like, bike's over there because I can't ride it around. Some days there's just no good way to end a video. Guess I better get back to work.